Okay, I'll continue here. All right. Mr. Rockman picked up a handful of dust and thought, maybe I snorted as if I'm snorting cocaine like Al Pacino in the movie Scarface. Mr. Rockman looked at his car that was 20 feet from him. The dog he kidnapped was looking at him through the windshield, as if it were perplexed at what he was doing. Suddenly, Mr. Rockman heard a vehicle coming in the distance. Trying to build up his courage, he thought of the scene in Scarface where Pacino's drug lord character had a desk covered with cocaine. But this is not cocaine. This is clean soil, I think. To make him more accepting of snorting dust up his nose, Mr. Rockman thought back to the time when he was at the Sacramento Zoo as a small boy feeding peanuts to one of the zoo's elephants through the chain-link fence. He remembered how the elephant was feeding peanuts to sucked his small arm up into its nose, happening so fast that it didn't give him time to be shocked or frightened, only grossed out when he quite suddenly found what seemed to be a sock of mucus and dust covering his arm when the elephant used the young Rockman's arm as a type of elephant trunk pipe cleaner. As Mr. Rockman thought back to the time he so desperately looked for a restroom to wash off the snot sock the elephant fitted for him onto his arm in such quick fashion, he also remembered that snorting up dust into the nose of an elephant is very common and doesn't seem to hurt the elephant at all. And if not, why not the snorting of dust up his own nose? Snorting up dust up his own nose hurt him either. Here goes nothing, Mr. Rockman said with a gulp. He then said, okay, Satan, slipping in my nose, say a lot to my little voodoo dust. In his haste to beat the car, Mr. Rockman grabbed up another handful of dirt as well, since one was to wash one's nose out 3 times for ablution. Mr. Rockman began snorting the dust up into his nose as if it were cocaine. Instantly, Mr. Rockman started coughing. He then started wheezing as he felt his lungs burn from an acrid, stinging, bizarre smell he never smelled before. This must not be the way to do when it's clean soil, he coughed and choked out. Mr. Rockman started freaking out when he felt something moving about in his nasal passages. Since he wasn't wearing his glasses, he actually snorted up an ant into his nose along with the dust. Mr. Rockman ran about on the road screaming and pleading with Allah to remove whatever it was that was moving about in his head. I have awakened Satan! I have awakened Satan! Mr. Rockman shouted. Seeing the light, the thing revealed what it was when it crawled out of Mr. Rockman's left nostril. It wasn't Satan, but a red ant. For a moment, Mr. Rockman actually thought it might be the Satan Muhammad talked of that sleeps in one's nose at night. As the ant climbed about on Mr. Rockman's arm, Mr. Rockman looked at it and asked, Is that you, Satan? Have you taken the form of an ant? You apparently can take on many shapes, including something big enough for stars to shoot flaming missiles at when you try to leave the earth to spy on Allah. If it is you, then dust makes you visible. Seems that when I use water, the only form you can take is that of snot. Mr. Rockman continued to cough and wheeze on the dust whatever the ant had squirted into his nasal cavity that was still stinging, and the approaching car slowed down. It was a convertible, a chubby middle-aged guy with a beard and a Shotokan karate sticker hanging on his rear-view mirror asked Mr. Rockman if he needed any help, especially since he saw Rockman flailing about in the middle of the road looking like he was on fire or something. The man said in a voice that sounded very much like the cartoon character Hank Hill from the animated TV show called King of the Hill. Are you all right? You look like you were being attacked by bees or something. The Quran scripture 551 and 328 went through Mr. Rahman's mind and warned him of being cut off from Allah if he took Jews and Christians as friends, protectors, or even helpers. Knowing that he didn't want to go to hell for taking the man as either of the three mentioned in those scriptures, Mr. Rahman nearly shouted out, "Oh no, I'm fine." The man in the convertible asked, "You sure? You look like you fell down you look like you fell down more than one time. As a matter of fact, you look like you dove face and head down into some dusty anthill. Why, there's even an ant on your head. By golly, it's a red ant." "I'm fine. Leave me be. I'm fine." The man in the car asked, "Would you like some water? I got a whole jug of it in my trunk you can wash your face and hair with." Mr. Rahman suddenly thought of the rest of Quran 328 and said, that said, "Unless you guard against them," meaning that although a Muslim can't take Jews or Christians as friends, protectors, helpers, he can take